Alien hunters pursued a Terran vessel. Then everything went wrong. The Kragoth warcruiser Bloodfang had been tracking the small Terran vessel for 3 standard cycles across the Theta sector. Commander Vexthor stood on the bridge, his 4 eyes gleaming with predatory satisfaction as the human ship appeared on the tactical display, a mere speck against the vast darkness of space. "They're slowing down," his tactical officer hissed. "Their engines are failing." Vexthor's mandibles clicked in amusement. The Kragoth had built their empire on the bones of lesser species, and humans were just another primitive race to be harvested. Their ships were slow, their weapons outdated, and their bodies fragile. "Easy prey. Prepare boarding parties," Vexthor commanded. "I want their cargo intact and any survivors brought to me. Alive, if possible. Dead humans fetch less at the slave markets." The Bloodfang closed the distance rapidly, its massive hull dwarfing the human vessel, a small cargo transport that couldn't have been more than 50 meters long. As they drew alongside, Vexthor studied the ship's hull. Scratched paint, patched armor plating, outdated thruster arrays. Typical human desperation. "Sir, they're not responding to our hails," the communications officer reported. "Of course not," Vexthor laughed. "They know what's coming. Extend the boarding tubes." Inside the Terran vessel Wandering Star, Elodie checked her weapon one final time. The plasma rifle hummed to life in her hands, its familiar weight a comfort against the cold knot of fear in her stomach. She glanced across the narrow corridor at Finn, who was calmly setting charges along the interior bulkhead. "How long?" she asked, her voice steady despite everything. Finn didn't look up from his work, his fingers moving with practiced precision. 2 minutes until they breach. 3 until their main force enters. 4 until they realize their mistake. Elodie allowed herself a small smile. They'd been running this con for 6 months now, ever since Earth Command had recruited them for Project Honeytrap. The Wandering Star looked like an easy target, old, slow, vulnerable, but appearances, as their prey was about to learn, could be devastatingly deceiving. "You scared?" Finn asked, finally meeting her eyes. "Terrified," she admitted. "You?" "Always." He grinned. "That's how I know I'm alive." The ship shuddered as the Kragoth boarding tubes locked onto their hull. Elodie could hear the cutting torches beginning their work, could smell the acrid scent of burning metal. She pressed herself against the wall, rifle aimed at the breach point, and counted her heartbeats. 1, 2, 3. The hull plate exploded inward, and Kragoth warriors poured through, massive creatures with chitinous armor and razor-sharp claws. They moved with the confidence of apex predators entering a cage full of prey. The first 3 never knew what hit them. Elodie's plasma rifle sang, each shot perfectly placed between armor plates, dropping warriors before they could raise their weapons. Finn's charges detonated in sequence, collapsing the boarding tube and sending a dozen more Kragoth tumbling into space. "Now," Elodie shouted. The Wandering Star came alive. Its damaged hull plating retracted, revealing military-grade armor beneath. The failing engines roared back to full power, not the weak civilian drives the Kragoth expected, but cutting-edge military fusion cores. Weapon ports opened along the ship's spine, and what had appeared to be a helpless cargo vessel transformed into a fully armed Terran gunship. On the Bloodfang's bridge, Vexthor's 4 eyes widened in horror as his sensors screamed warnings. "Impossible," he whispered. "It's a warship. It's a damn Terran warship." The Wandering Star opened fire. Railgun rounds tore through the Bloodfang's shields like they were tissue paper. Missiles streaked across the void, each one finding weak points in the cruiser's armor with surgical precision. The Kragoth vessel, designed to intimidate and overwhelm civilian targets, found itself outgunned and outmaneuvered by what it had thought was prey. Inside the Wandering Star, Elodie and Finn fought their way through the remaining boarders. The Kragoth were strong, fast, and deadly, but humans had something the galaxy's other species consistently underestimated. Humans were adaptable. Humans were creative. And humans, when pushed to the wall, were absolutely vicious. Elodie ducked under a clawed strike that would have decapitated her, rolled forward, and put 3 plasma rounds through her attacker's thorax. Finn activated his combat shield, absorbed a barrage of energy bolts, and returned fire with his own weapon, a human-designed gyrojet rifle that fired self-propelled explosive rounds. The close-quarters battle was brutal and short. Within minutes, every Kragoth boarder was either dead or dying. Bridge secure, Finn reported into his comm. How's our fish looking? The answer came from the Wandering Star's actual captain, safely ensconced in the ship's armored command center. The Bloodfang is crippled. Their engines are offline, shields are down, and they're venting atmosphere from 17 hull breaches. They're hailing us, begging for mercy. Elodie and Finn exchanged glances. 6 months ago, they'd both lost family, when the Kragoth had raided the colony on New Perth. Mercy was the last thing either of them felt, but orders were orders. Tell them to power down all remaining weapons and prepare to be boarded, Elodie said coldly. By us this time. And inform Earth Command that Project Honeytrap has claimed another one. As Terran Marines teleported onto the Bloodfang to secure the vessel and take prisoners, Elodie stood in the Wandering Star's observation deck, watching the massive Kragoth warship drift helplessly. She thought about all the species in the galaxy that saw humans as weak, as primitive, as easy targets. They were learning, slowly, that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their numbers. It was their ability to turn weakness into strength, to use their enemies' assumptions against them, and to never, ever stop fighting back. Finn joined her at the window, holding 2 coffee bulbs. He handed her one. Think they'll learn? He asked. Elodie took a sip and shook her head. Eventually, but not today. In the distance, 3 more Terran warships dropped out of FTL, arriving to collect their prize. Word would spread through the criminal underworld. Human ships weren't easy prey anymore. The hunters had become the hunted, and humanity was just getting started.